All right, we are live. Welcome back, everyone. J-Bone here for Smash This Podcast. Sorry, I had to close the office door. Um, he left and came back. Oh man, late on a Monday. Wanted to get on here a lot earlier than this, but that's life sometimes. Life just don't work out how you think it's going to, you know? It's life. But nonetheless, we are here trying to get back to the hashtag MLW Mondays here on Smash This Podcast. Reviewing this past weekend's MLW Fusion, which was War Games. I've been looking forward to this for weeks. They've really been promoting the hell out of this. I like the build up to this. As simple as it is, they're just 1 hour shows, so it is what it is. They throw in the small promos in between matches, and they talk about the stuff during the matches. So, like I said, it is what it is. I like the show. I think it's well done. I catch it every weekend on YouTube because I'm, like I said, I've got one of the few cable systems that does not carry the beIN Sports product. But hey, that's all right. I still have a good, reliable source. I just watch it the next day or somewhere over the course of the weekend and review it when I can early in the week. So, and the one big question that I had about this that I didn't know how they were going to do it was I didn't know if they were going to air the whole thing at once. I didn't know how they were going to, I just didn't know how they were going to, display this all on TV. The whole event in one sitting for like a 2-hour show or break it up. And it's the latter of the two. We got the War Games match for this episode, and then everything else on the card, is going to be over the next several weeks leading up to, what's the next big thing? Fury Road, something to that effect. They just started promoting that, talking about matches with the New Heart Foundation coming up. So, but let's talk about this. This was fun. I enjoyed it. I was really curious to see how these two teams were gonna do this because, like, some of these guys are still relatively new to me. You've got some veterans in there, like, Callahan's been doing this for a while, and Johnny, I call him Johnny Fusion because he's Johnny insert name of show he's on. John Hennigan, or Mundo from Lucha Underground, or Impact from Impact. Tommy Dreamer, the biggest vet on the show, or oldest vet on the show, I should say. Biggest as far as fame-wise, especially in the hardcore scheme of things, I'd say. Jimmy Havoc's been doing this for a decent amount of years. That's one guy I really don't know a lot about, but I started seeing him a lot on, it's another one I started seeing on Flow Slam a couple years ago, a lot. I believe I saw him a few times on the Lucha Forever shows. And depending on the crowd and the opponent, he was, either a full-blown heel or a fan favorite, which is also very interesting. In this case, a heel, and did some things that just gave you goosebumps because I don't watch a ton of hardcore death matches where they're going all crazy with weapons, or in this case, very unique weapons. So there were a few things in this match that really gave me the heebie-jeebies. I'll use an old fart term for you, the heebie-jeebies. Make you squirm. And then we get a couple previews for next week too. We'll get to that at the end. So these are the teams, and I'll go over the order that came out and then some stuff that happens in between. You got Team Swerve, Team Shane Strickland, and Team Callahan, or Team, I don't know what they call them, Team Death Machine. I'm not sure what they call this team. But anyway, Sami Callahan's team. Shane Strickland team, of course, is Shane Strickland, Johnny Fusion, Cotto Brazil, Tommy Dreamer, and Barrington Hughes. Sami Callahan's team, of course, Sally. He's such a Sally. No. Oh, dear God, he'd kill me. Sami Callahan. The Death Machines, Leon Scott and Fulton, Jimmy Havoc, and then rounding out the team is Abyss. Interesting order of the way they came out. Crowd was decent, and some of the stuff that happened here was just really surprising. Kind of threw you off, like, wow. The first two out, and and the other thing is, I'd have to go look and actually do research and see if these same rules were in play during like the last War Games I was featured on TV during the NXT. What was that? Earlier this year, or was that last year? Somewhere within the last year, there was a War Games on NXT, and Adam Cole's team won, I think. I don't remember who was all in it, but it was fun. I remember watching it. It was cool. This obviously was different. I think the rules were a little different. They had two start out in the ring for 5 minutes, and then every 2 minutes after that, you had one from each team come out every 2 minutes. And until the last person came out, and then it was the actual War Games match started, and I'm trying to remember everything. You could only win by submission or surrender, which sounded a little weird, but whatever. So you couldn't do pinfalls in this, whereas in the other War Games, I think you could. So they changed it up a little bit, which is not a bad thing. I was really indifferent to how they were doing it. I knew there was a time frame thing in here as far as one guy then another guy, but as far as really nitpicking specific things, I wasn't going to be like, ooh, I got to look this up. I'm not sure this is proper. It's a hardcore double ring, double cage match. Really, it's let's not overthink this. It's just, fun to watch. But, they explain the rules, how they're going to do it. But then, of course, the rules aren't always adhered to. And we're going to get into that right now. So the first two out are Cotto Brazil and Fulton. Talk about two opposite ends of the spectrum. Cotto Brazil is like 4 foot nothing. Oh, I don't think he's that short, but he's a smaller guy in stature. Fulton's as big as a flipping doorway. He's not that big, like muscular type. He's kind of like Lance Archer, if you don't remember him. He's muscular, but he's not like, muscles from here to kingdom come. He's just a big, tall guy. But still obviously intimidating, especially with this look. He's got the war paint on. He's got the dreads. He's got the assault gear on, kind of like army/shield looking. So, and no, I'm not saying he's ripping off anyone. No, I'm not going there. No, it's the people that have absolutely no more, like way too much time on their hands. They'll sit there and nitpick this to death. No, I just think he looked badass. Okay. So it's cool to see Fulton as part of Callahan's team. I've talked about that a little bit. Nice to see him back on television as as he used to be part of Sanity, amongst other things over the years, down in NXT. So these two clobber each other for a good 5 minutes. I had I watched this live, I probably would have come up with the hashtag, some to the effect of take a shot or take a drink every time Cotto Brazil gets thrown into the cage. Because by the end of this hour-long show, you'll be completely annihilated. Guaranteed. Cotto gets thrown into the cage so many times. This poor guy. Oh, my God. And this is a guy that's, once again, he's new to me. This is my first few times watching him was within the last few weeks, is the build up to this, either a stepping stone match leading up to this or a promo or whatever. So just oblivious to this guy, but this guy got his ass kicked bad, but he also did a decent amount of ass kicking in this. Unfortunately, I don't remember anything specific that he did as far as offensively. I remember everything he took defensively, which a majority of it was just getting tossed around like a rag doll, unfortunately. But he still, he earned, if he did anything in this, he earned my respect. I was like, wow, this kid really took some bumps in this. I mean, this is the kind of match that changes careers, folks. And it has in the past, and I'm sure it did for a few of these guys. Certainly some of them. So these guys go at it for a while. Then Johnny Fusion comes in. And he and Cotto Brazil, this match did start out kind of slow. And it should. You shouldn't go 1,000% into this, because this is a long match. This is a very violent match, and this is a very grueling match, as in you gotta have some cardio to get through this match. I mean, yeah, you lay down for someone else to get their spots in, but man, you gotta pace yourself in this. And obviously everyone did, which is obvious in the beginning of this, which is not a knock on anyone. It's just, it did start out a little slow, and then as you add people, then it starts getting more and more exciting and or chaotic, as we see in the next addition to this match. Jimmy Havoc, oh my goodness, number 4 in this match. As he's getting in the ring, we can see he's got a piece of paper, like magazine paper or something, tucked in the back of his tights or trunks or whatever you call them, pants, trousers. Gets in the ring, goes for the sheet of paper, and instantly goes after Johnny's hands, slicing him between, oh God, I'm cringing just thinking about it. Slicing him between the fingers, down right here. Oh my God. Goes up to Cotto Brazil, does the same thing. And that kind of pain knocks you into next week. It's like getting your finger slammed in a door. Your entire appendage from fingertip to shoulder hurts. There is no, I shouldn't say there's no worse pain, but there are not a lot of more excruciating pains on this planet than, the little tiny little cuts that just go straight up your arm, especially if you get something spilt on them. I'm surprised he didn't spray him down with lemon juice or dump salt on him. Some kind of crazy asinine thing. That'd have been, oh my God. So they're writhing in pain, and it's evened out now. Then Shane Strickland's music hits, and everyone's like, oh, yay, it's Swerve. He comes out, doesn't even make it to the cage, Callahan comes up behind him immediately out of place in order of coming to the ring. Oh, who does he think he is? Oh, wait. He's Callahan. He can do whatever the hell he wants. Like he does on pretty much any show he goes on. Goes up behind Swerve, attacks him, throws him off of the stage through a table, and he never gets up from it. He's like, they walk him out immediately afterwards. Like, as well, I should say immediately. It takes him for a while to get up, but then as soon as he's up, he's gone. He never makes it into the match itself. And it was one of those things where it felt like, oh, okay, he's leaving the match. He's never coming back. Oh, okay. 5 minutes into the end of the match, he'll come, climb the cage, do some asinine dive on top of everybody, lay everyone out, and a couple other moves later, win the match. You know, usually that is a type of thing that happens. Excuse me. That did not happen here. Swerve never comes back. So, not sure why. I haven't heard any news about it. How bad, if and how bad he hurt himself from this, I have no idea. But, I mean, obviously it can't be that bad. He just got engaged and he was, looked fine in the video and the pictures I saw online. So congrats again to Shane Strickland and his woman on their engagement. So Swerve's out, Callahan's in, kicking all kinds of ass. Then Tommy Dreamer comes down. Tommy Dreamer, look out. Oh my God. Brings down trash can full of all sorts of toys. The floor sign, I don't know what the heck was all in. Whatever was in fell out, and then he ended up throwing over and through the door and everything. Just brought a whole slew of toys into the ring. And which it's only appropriate. This is the innovator of violence, Tommy Dreamer. So I mean, if he did anything less, it would have been, why is he in this? This is Tommy Dreamer we're talking about. It was very appropriate. And then we get he was in full I gotta say this, he was in full Dusty garb too. I mean, he had a House of Hardcore shirt on, and then he took that off and showed it was a tribute to Dusty. Hey, Pierre's in the chat. What is going on? Glad you could join us. Welcome to Smash This Podcast as we're talking about war games. Leon Scott comes out next, evens up the odds. Actually, no, it's not even at this point because it's still 1 up on Callahan's team. Barrington Hughes comes out, the last one from Strickland's team, and then Abyss after that. And I'm skipping forward here. There was a couple of good spots, but I'm skipping towards the end because the finish is crazy. Barrington Hughes, you want to talk about innovative violence or something new to people's eyes. When you're a part of this type of historic match for the first time, you want it to be eye-catching. You want it to be remembering. You want to be remembered for something in the match. Barrington Hughes and the rest of these guys are going to go down for the end of this match as being ridiculously historical. People I know are going to be talking about the ending of this particular War Games match for a long time to come, especially on this brand. You won't hear WWE talk about this. You may hear some other people like JR talk about it on his show. He'll talk about everything. He's not brand specific. He covers a lot of different stuff. He works for New Japan and WWE and covers all sorts of stuff. So he may talk about this. Or some other people may talk about this. I still haven't seen, other than Kirk Bauer and the guys that are on MLW radio, obviously, are going to talk about this. But as far as other people, and I'm not singling myself out, I'm just saying I don't see a lot of other people talking about this. So I feel kind of special. I don't think I'm like incredible or anything talking about this. I'm glad I am one of the few people besides MLW people that are talking about this, because I feel like this brand is really going to grow over the next few years if it stays on television and everything goes smooth with, keeping a pretty steady roster and such. Contracts, touring, whatever. Speaking of touring, get to the announcement that they just came out with just a few hours ago, a little bit. So, speaking of being innovative violence, my point in this is Barrington Hughes. Oh my God. So the other guys, I think Johnny was down, or maybe I don't know. I remember Cotto Brazil grabbed the barbed wire and then gave it to Tommy, and I think of Johnny and Cotto. I think all three of them were wrapping the barbed wire around Barrington Hughes, which it's like, oh my God, what are you doing? Taking one for the team. It's in the strangest of ways. Barrington Hughes is a massive man. He's 400 plus pounds. I believe they said 470. I could be off a little, but I think I'm close. They wrapped the barbed wire around him and then whipped him into the corner and hit Fulton. They hit Fulton. Fulton was on top of Callahan in the corner, so they both got crushed, but Fulton obviously took the most damage, getting barbed wire from Barrington Hughes into him as well. Can you imagine an almost 500-pound guy squashing you covered in barbed wire? Unbelievable. I mean, that's just insane. Absolutely flippin' insane. When I saw them doing this, I was on the edge of my seat here watching this, just like Fulton falls down. Callahan falls out of the corner of them as well. Dreamer pile drives him. Callahan's just count him out. Cotto Brazil and Barrington Hughes grab the barbed wire, whatever's hanging off of Barrington Hughes, and wrap it around Fulton's face, as in like just prying it back across his forehead, digging into his skull, and then he just instantly taps out. It was kind of like a, what do they call that? The Benoit. It's kind of like a barbed wire cross face in a sense, sort of, kind of, whatever. But nonetheless, taps out. Team Swerve wins, and they celebrate. They exit the ring. As they're going off television, Callahan turns on Jimmy Havoc because of a move that happened right before the barbed wire mishap. And Jimmy Havoc accidentally clotheslined Callahan. I almost forgot about that, which causes the attack on Jimmy Havoc later. So all three guys from the Death Machines and Callahan are attacking Jimmy Havoc, going off the air. Roll credits. Right before this attack, and I want to touch on something, like whenever we see Tommy Dreamer doing a match, something similar to this. It's usually hardcore based, related in his company or, here somewhere else. He had a Singapore cane stick in hand. They watched him, or they showed him going down the steps, walking along the stage, walking up the other set of steps. He gets on the stage and he turns around. And the look on his face is priceless. He's got so much like pain and emotion in his face. And I actually paused it and I just sat back and I looked at the look on his face and just looked at it for a minute. And I invite you to do the same thing. And if you think I'm on crack, no, it's for a legit reason. Guys, Tommy Dreamer has been doing this for 20 some odd years, give or take a little bit. Dreamer's not going to be doing this for very much longer. He was probably taking a moment and just taking it all in from the fans, turned around and looked at the cage like, wow. I was just on Team American Nightmare, walking Cody down to get to, assist him and him trying to get the classic NWA championship at All In. Now I'm at a War Games match that he's never been in before, which was created by Dusty Rhodes. There was probably a whole slew of sentimental stuff going through his head. And everything from, I can't believe I did this, to I'm never going to do something like this ever again. Because he's said it multiple times over the course of the last few years, I don't know how much longer I'm doing this. And every time he's in a match like this over the course of this last year, a thought runs through my head. Is this going to be one of his last matches? Or is this going to be his last match? I would not be shocked or upset. I mean, yeah, I'd be a little upset, but you got to take it with a sense of realism here. Tommy ain't going to do this forever. He is beaten up, battered. His body is literally broken. And he's probably never going to do another War Games match ever again. I'd be shocked if he did. I'd be absolutely shocked. Mildly appalled. No, I'm kidding. So yeah. Just, those final few moments were just real, him reflecting. And it's only like 5 seconds they show him doing that. But it's a meaningful few seconds that you see the look on his face, and it's like, damn. That look on his face tells so many pictures, it's not even funny. So that's it for this match. It was fun. I don't know. It felt a little rushed, but it is what it is. It's for TV. They didn't have a long dragged out time like for a pay-per-view total thing. I understand you got to splice this up for this. The whole show is spliced up later for TV is how I learned they're going to do it. So next week we're going to get a few more matches. Then the week after that, you're going to get a few more matches from this event. It is what it is. But the crowd was decent. It was all right. So next week, it looks like we're getting PCO. Usually we get 3 matches. They only advertise 2, so we'll see what they give us. Excuse me. Might have some promos and some aftermath. Who knows? PCO versus Brody King. Looks like it's going to be a good, crazy slug out match. 2 brawlers. And then we've got the debut of Taya Valkyrie. It's exciting. She's one of my favorite women wrestlers right now. Teaming with Joey Ryan versus MJF and Aria Blake. Oh, excuse me. So yeah, we got that set up for next week. And then they were talking over the weekend about giving away clues about where they're going to be showing up on tour over the course of this next year. And they gave a clue and they showed a Blues Brothers clip. And it's like, oh, well, Blues Brothers started in Chicago and then ended up in, or some, wait, no, it's, the funny thing is they do that jump on the bridge and then they land in Milwaukee, but it's still supposed to be Chicago or something. I forget. But anyways, I think a good chunk of the movie is shot in Chicago. And so I was like, oh, a Midwest show. That'd be great. Because so far they've been doing Florida and East Coast, like New York City shows. And that's it. So it'd be nice to see them branch out across the country and tour, you know, grow the TV brand, grow the brand, period. It's nice to see. So sure enough, they're going to be doing, I didn't catch the date. I think they said it was November. Not sure. I should have looked it up before I went live, but it's in Chicago. So it's like, oh, right. A Midwest show for MLW. That's pretty cool. And I think they said November. I got to look up see all the details. I'll be talking about it probably more on the next review I do, hopefully next Monday. We'll see. So great to see them branching out, touring a little, growing the brand. Never a bad thing for the world of professional wrestling, especially something that's new to television. I'm trying to grow this brand again. Oh my God, long day, folks. All right, so we're gonna wrap this up. That's it for this one. Just the one match in this one, but it was a long, drawn out match, so it's all right. The episode in itself, short and sweet, so it is what it is. Not sure what's going to come up tomorrow. Trying to catch up on a few Impact shows between the Night of the Dummies and the UK show. Partway through the UK show. So we'll see what comes next. I don't know. We'll probably get another review in before Wednesday. We'll see what happens. So that's it for this one. Thanks for joining me, folks. And if you caught this partway through, you can catch the replay on wrestlingwithwrestling.com, which is where I do my Lucha Underground, House of Hardcore. It's few and far between lately, but it is what it is. And my MLW weekly reviews. So, this is J-Bone for Smash This Podcast. Don't forget to smash that like button, smash that sub button. Have a good night, folks.